Canadians returned to cenotaphs and monuments across the country this morning to remember and pay their respects to those who fought and died in service of Canada. This year's Remembrance Day ceremonies will stand in stark contrast to last year, when organizers discouraged people from attending in person because of the second wave of COVID-19. Masks and physical distancing were in effect at the National War Memorial in Ottawa. The Royal Canadian Legion cancelled the traditional Veterans Parade, but there was an area for them to stand or sit near the monument. Meanwhile, many Canadians are finding their own ways to pay tribute to those who fought for our country. Well, joining us now to talk more about Remembrance Day is Brendan Caldwell, Director of Caldwell Securities Limited. Sir, welcome back to Forum Daily.
Thank you, Nima. Great to be here.
All right, well, Brendan, yesterday in the National Post and today in the Globe and Mail, your firm created a tribute to our veterans. So tell us what were in these tributes and why you decided to do this.
Well, we thought it was very important. This country has been going through a bit of an existential crisis. Flags are usually at half-mast just on occasion during the year, but we've kept them at half-mast since May. And I think we as a country have a lot to be proud of. We had young people, young men in particular, that stood against evil multiple times in the last century and in the early part of this century, whether in Europe or in Afghanistan or in the Pacific. We did an awful lot and sacrificed an awful lot to combat evil and make the world as good as it is today. So I think that is something that we as a nation need to remember and pay tribute to.
Some very powerful words there, Brendan. It's interesting, you mentioned that lest we forget may not have the same impact anymore because there's a new generation that may not remember or know about the sacrifices of our veterans. So what would you say to this group of people?
Well, yeah, I think you're right. Lest we forget was an expression that meant let's not forget, but you cannot forget what you never knew. And I think we have not just forgotten, but maybe there are generations that have come up that really didn't know about what the sacrifices were like in the First World War, the Second World War. I just came from a meeting at my old high school where we lost 170 of my class, not of my classmates, but of boys from our school were lost in the First War, and another 130 in the Second. 300 young men from one high school in Toronto gave their lives in those two conflicts. And it's just, it can't be forgotten collectively or individually. So we needed to find a new language, a new way to express that and help people think about it again in a new way.
And we know you also have a personal connection when it comes to the Canadian Armed Forces. You were the honorary Lieutenant Colonel of the Queen's Own Rifles of Canada for 4 years. So tell us a little bit about this role, what the role entails, and why you decided to get involved with the QOR.
Well, it was a tremendous honor. It was right as our role in the Afghan conflict was wrapping up, and we had a lot of young people, our riflemen, coming back from Afghanistan in need of civilian work. And soldiers think they should be maybe policemen or security guards because they knew how to use a weapon, but actually their training in communications, in leadership, and organization surpasses anyone at any level of their same age. So they may not have an easy time expressing what it is they'd like to do or translating the acronyms of the Army into civilian talk, but we got them hooked up with outplacement agencies and into careers that really do suit them, from being the CEO of an engineering firm to selling air conditioning. They did different things than maybe that they would thought they would do, and it's worked out really well for a lot of them. So I've been very grateful to be involved in that.
And being surrounded by these veterans and soldiers, was there anything that you learned from them that has made an impact in your daily life?
Well, it's the one thing I volunteered at that actually made my wife think I was a little bit cooler, just because they are such tremendous individuals that were willing to spend years of their lives to go halfway around the world to try and make a country better that they never would have otherwise been to or visited. But I learned that one is willing to sacrifice, one is open to growing and developing in new ways, and seeing how these young people grew and developed as individuals and as leaders has made me extremely proud to be Canadian.